Does the Bible predict Brexit? In order to answer this question, we have to see what the Bible says about the future of Europe. In a previous video, we talked about how the Roman Empire must be reborn prior to the return of Jesus. Many well-known theologians teach that this is taking place in the European Union. Some of these Bible teachers and pastors include David Jeremiah, Erwin Lutzer, Tony Evans, and the late Charles Ryrie. But why do they believe this? Daniel 2 and 7 teach that there will be 4 empires that rise up in world history, one after another. And historical analysis reveals the identity of these 4 empires. As a result, conservative Bible scholars largely agree that the 4th kingdom is the Roman Empire. According to Daniel 7, God violently destroys the final ruler of the Roman Empire when he sets up his eternal kingdom. After his defeat, all dominions will obey God and his people in his new kingdom. Jesus even uses language from Daniel 7 to describe his second coming. In order for the Roman Empire to be defeated at the second coming of Christ, it must be reborn in the end times. This is why Dr. John Walvoord, former president of Dallas Theological Seminary, anticipated the revival of the Roman Empire. In Daniel 2, each of the 4 empires is represented by 4 parts of a giant statue. Unlike the previous kingdoms, the 4th kingdom has 2 parts. It is represented by the statue's legs of iron and feet and toes of iron mixed with clay. Using this word picture, Daniel explains how the end times Roman Empire will be different than the historical Roman Empire. And there shall be a 4th kingdom, strong as iron, because iron breaks to pieces and shatters all things. And like iron that crushes, it shall break and crush all these. And as you saw the feet and toes, partly of potter's clay and partly of iron, it shall be a divided kingdom, but some of the firmness of iron shall be in it, just as you saw iron mixed with the soft clay. And as the toes of the feet were partly iron and partly clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly brittle. As you saw the iron mixed with soft clay, so they will mix with one another in marriage, but they will not hold together, just as iron does not mix with clay. This chart illustrates the 2 stages of the Roman Empire with its legs of iron stage and its feet and toes of iron and clay stage. Daniel makes clear that the final phase of the Roman Empire is a divided kingdom. No matter how divided the ancient Roman Empire may have been, the end times Roman Empire is much more so by comparison. As a result, it becomes clear that the end times Roman Empire struggles with disunity. The European Union struggles with disunity. The first major example of this has been in the Eurozone crisis, which has been ongoing since 2009. During its worst moments, this crisis threatened the very existence of the euro as a currency, opening up the possibility that the Eurozone could break up. Compare this to the United States. Investors don't usually sit around and worry if the dollar zone is going to break up, but this is in fact what they worry about with the Eurozone in times of crisis. Another strong example of the EU's disunity took place in 2016, where the United Kingdom voted to leave the European Union in its historic Brexit vote. Therefore, Brexit fulfills the prophecy that the end times Roman Empire would be a divided kingdom. The Bible also says the end times Roman Empire will be partly strong and partly brittle. This is true of EU member countries, both militarily and economically. Some EU members have very strong militaries. Others have extremely small and weak militaries. It should be noted that the UK intends to be closely connected to European defense structures after Brexit. Furthermore, countries like the UK and Germany have very strong economies. This is in contrast to economies like Greece and Spain, which have high unemployment. Finally, the Bible says that the people in the end times Roman Empire will mix with one another in marriage, but they will not hold together. Due to its open borders, the EU has a very high rate of cross-border marriages between people in different member countries. However, the divorce rate for these is much higher than for people who marry someone from their home country. Because this problem was so bad, the EU passed legislation in 2010 to make cross-border divorce much easier. An article from Time magazine illustrates this situation. By easing the freedom of movement, the European Union has literally brought people together. An estimated 350,000 cross-border marriages take place every year, with Lithuanians finding love in London and Spaniards tying the knot in Toulouse. But just as member states inevitably enter into political and diplomatic scuffles, a number of international marriages break down every year. 40% of the EU's cross-border couples divorce annually, accounting for 16% of all EU divorces. So does the Bible predict Brexit? Daniel doesn't specifically tell us about Brexit. However, it does fulfill prophecy in that it is one way that the end times Roman Empire is a divided kingdom, just like Daniel says.